G'day, Lee.
Yeah, g'day, mate. How you going?
How the hell are you doing here?
Well, you're looking well.
Thanks.
It's an awkward start to radio, isn't it? I don't know what I'm doing.
You're
here,
looking
mate.
well. You're looking well,
Well,
too.
you're looking very well.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah, so,
Are
yeah.
you working out?
No, well, not really.
I've been at the gym this morning.
Have you?
Yeah.
Boxing?
Yes, I was boxing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lee. You're looking well, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man.
No, that's all right. Sorry, Mike didn't say that back.
I
You are
did.
looking well. Yeah, Lee's been skipping
You
this
listen to
morning.
the tapes. You
Oh,
listen
okay,
to the tapes.
sorry.
Okay.
Lee's-
Look, it's all right. You know.
Awful
all right.
start.
What
Shall we
kind of
start
boxing?
again?
What kind of boxing things are you doing?
I just normal sort of boxing went this morning. Had a skipping for the first time in about 5 years. I'm really struggling with that.
Like with a rope? Not
Yeah, with a rope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Not tried skipping
your
the
knees.
class, no.
Jesus, I haven't done that for a long time, and it was horrible. But you know,
Sparring? Do you spar with anyone, or do you just hit a bag?
today we didn't. It's just pads and bag and stuff. But you know, you get to my age, Mike. You try to stay away from
Stay away from the other bag.
sparring and
Okay. Yeah, then what are you doing here?
I'm actually here in the studio to talk sport.
Yep. Good. Because
which is a passion of mine, as you know. With being one of the original ACC commentators. I think you got me on board originally for my sporting knowledge.
Yeah, for your
certainly in
actually
the
stats, actually.
stat stuff.
Yeah.
Which, with AI happening, you'd think my job would have gone.
Yeah.
But it's how you interpret stats. AI can only give you so much. I'll give you what the stats really mean, where that's going to go.
Okay, right. The interpretation, because numbers are numbers, aren't they? So for a lot of people, it just looks like the Matrix.
Oh, you do the math?
No.
No, I'm just saying
AI
numbers.
does.
Yeah, AI, for numbers. Yeah,
that's what I mean. It looks,
exactly.
To me, it just looks like the
Well,
Matrix.
look, you see numbers and you just probably get confused. I see numbers, I see patterns, I see colours, I see stories in those numbers, whether cricket, stock market.
Stock market?
You name it. Anything with numbers,
Yeah.
I can interpret
Okay.
in some sort of way. Kind of like Rain Man on the piss.
Do you buy?
Yep.
If Rain Man
Yeah.
loved drinking piss.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Do you buy your undies from Kmart?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah, yep. Or online, Temu.
Okay. That's one thing I've never ever considered buying on Temu is underwear. I bought.
Did you get this on Temu? The F Me Silly to Go, Realistic Teeth, Deep Throat.
No, that was a gift actually from someone. Came in for the podcast yesterday. Actually, Morgan Penn came in. Yeah. She remember last time she came on the cricket. She gave you a couple of handcuffs and a whip.
She did actually, didn't she?
Yeah.
I thought she said she gave me a couple of hand jobs, and then she didn't. But well, she had.
Well, funnily enough, Lee, I did say in the 22 and 2, I rattled off a whole lot of people. Who would you rather wake up naked next to? And she chose you.
Oh, you're joking?
And it was quick. How quick was it? She goes,
Yeah,
Leigh
quick.
Hart.
Yeah, quick.
Hundy P. Leigh
I
Hart.
can't remember the other names on the list, though.
All right, let's wrap this up, eh?
Well, let's get into it then. Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios, this is the Agenda Podcast for Friday. Oh, no, it's Thursday, the 5th of June.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Lee, you've got a radio show coming back. You're bringing the band back together.
Yeah, look, it's been about 4.5 years in the making.
Yes.
Much to the what do you call it? The legal people here's. It was originally supposed to be a podcast, but I didn't know what a podcast was.
Yeah.
So, a podcast. I
You're on
always
one now. This is
Well,
a
that's
podcast,
exactly right.
yeah.
I always thought a podcast was something for someone who couldn't get a radio show. You know what I mean? And there's except for this one, of course.
Or
This
if you
is
get
different.
fired from a radio show.
Yes, or get fired from a radio show.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'll do a podcast, but why not, if I'm bothering to come in, why not make it a radio show as well?
Yeah.
And you could use both, blah, blah, blah. And they said, okay.
It's like sustainable, isn't it?
Yeah, but I didn't want to come in every day.
Yes.
So
I hear you.
we decided just to make it Friday
And you don't want to be
3
here
to 4.
Right, so you don't want to be here for much longer either. So
I just want to be there for happy hour.
Right.
The 3 to 4, the fun part.
yeah,
We're trying to put the rock and roll back into radio.
the rock and roll back into 3 to 4
Back
Fridays.
to 3 to 4.
On
So if you're
Hauraki.
in the car,
Yeah.
I don't want you partying if you're in the car or drinking,
Yeah.
but we'll be having a few beers and stuff and, just trying to get people excited, see what's happening for the weekend, play a bit of rock and roll.
Yeah, nice. Well, I remember.
I don't know if we get to choose the music or not.
I think you should just choose the music. That's
Yeah.
what you always used to do anyway.
Well, a little bit. I don't know if Prebz would like that, but look, we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. Look, I don't know what you can expect, but Matt Ward, of course, the Night Wolf,
Oh, good.
Lobo de Noche,
Yeah.
he'll be there as well.
Strange for the Night Wolf though, because he's it's a different time for him, isn't it?
It's a different time for him. It's pretty creepy that he's still called the Night Wolf in the afternoon, which says more about his personality than the radio slot. But, since I was on radio with him, a lot's changed. He's had a couple of kids.
Yes.
I've had a marriage breakup.
Yeah.
So we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, a lot of content
in
between those two very different stories.
Yes.
But this is how you started on radio. You started with a 1 hour sports show.
So. On a
Saturday mornings. Sports Bouger.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, we started 1 hour on Saturdays, and I think we went to
1 hour every day.
1 hour every day before Havo.
Yeah.
And then we ended up doing the drive, and then it got really weird. I don't know what happened. It was like an acid trip. We were all over the show. I don't know what happened at the end. And
there was a period there when I was at Hauraki, Matt and Jerry at breakfast, you, Jason, Loba de Noche, and out. There was a period of 2 years there where I think your good friend Brent, he goes, wow, those was 2 years which, he goes, I couldn't believe, one, you were getting away with, and two, how anyone ever survived that.
Yeah, and I'd be one of those people that would, but it was fun, right?
Oh, it was great fun. It was 2 years in which it was just total and utter.
Plus, we're doing the ACC
bedlam.
stuff at the same time. It was a pretty chaotic. I don't know how many years was that.
There was just a 2 year period there where it was just full on. I remember. We did No Sleep Still Polling.
Yep.
That was that kind of where we stayed up all night and then went and voted at 9 in the morning. All sorts of shenanigans going on. But then we went on tour with the ACC for 2 weeks, and you did your show on the road.
Yeah,
we did live events.
That was fun.
And I can remember Jason Hoyt cutting a cake. They made a cake for us in Christchurch, and he cut it up with this huge, big, sharp carving knife, and he cut a slice, and he was feeding it into people's mouths with this carving knife.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was in Christchurch, wasn't it?
And he did a stand-up routine, and I had to go and turn the
pull the plug.
Yes,
I think the term is. It just wasn't engaging with him at that point. It was lost. Just kind of lost the.
I've said this before, Lee. My exposure to you boys when I was first at New Zealand Broadcasting School was there was a certain class that you'd take as the radio class, and that was kind of 101 on what not to do in radio, and it was mainly you guys. In fact, it was pretty much, I think, for the year that I was there, 100% you guys. And that was all the exposure that I had of you, essentially.
Well, I've been given a posthumous radio award, which you only give those to people who are dead.
Yeah.
But I said, look, I'd like it now because I'd like to enjoy this award. And that's for, services to not what to do in radio.
Yeah.
To broadcasting schools and that kind of stuff.
That's what was so good about it. And one of the greatest was when I was the content director, when you told, I think, Matt Ward to go fuck himself at about 10 past 5. It was very funny because it was set up and you went, well, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I remember it.
And it
from the lesson.
Oh, from the lesson. And anyway, Legal came storming down and goes, he can't be saying fuck. And then so I remember coming to the studio, I said, you can't be saying fuck. And you're like, sorry about that.
So sorry about that. But then I think I had to take a day off, didn't I?
Yes.
Legal.
It is like a stand down.
You stand down.
And they're like, we cannot abide by, we cannot have people saying fuck at 20 past 5 on the radio. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it was pretty funny.
But didn't we arrange it because I wanted a day off anyway? And you said, I tell you what, you can have the day off tomorrow. Thanks,
No.
mate.
I think you were off, and I'll go, that's it. You're suspended for a day, and you're like, you were in Christchurch anyway. But
Fuck, that's good.
But also, I did say to Legal at the time, has anyone complained? No one did.
No.
It's the context, you see.
Yeah.
They understood Matt deserved that.
Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, current content director of Radio Hauraki was paneling for the hits when he was the boss over there. They were short of a panelist, and he missed a button, and you can hear him whisper into the microphone, this job's fucking killing me. We've got the audio still. It's on my desktop. It's one of the greats. Anyway, so it's great to have you back on
It's going to
on
be
the
fun.
radio.
I'm looking forward to it, because I love coming in here with the ACC stuff, but it's good to be part of a sort of a team again, that sort of stuff,
Nice. So 3 to 4 every Friday.
3 to 4 every Friday. Good God, it seems ominous already, but
wow. Oh, come on, it's 5 voice breaks, isn't it? 5 or 6 voice.
5. We might squeeze a sixth one in.
Stick a couple of features in there. I heard there's a few bit of legal action going on between you and Mania around Name That Tune.
Yeah, well, he's just broken it to me that he's been using Name That Tune as a concept. That's something I copyrighted many years ago.
Not many people have done it in radio, have you? Were you the first?
I was the first
to name it,
to get listeners to guess things.
Yeah.
Sounds, songs, tunes. No one's done that
Well,
before
have you
me.
have the ZM do the secret
Sound like
sound?
trumpet. No one's done that before me.
No one. No one.
No, look, I'll be. The good thing about having 1 hour on a Friday, I can spend 4.5 days prepping for that.
Yeah,
See?
okay. That's going
And is that what you're going to do you
So we're
think?
going for quality, not quantity.
Okay.
Or
you
is it,
concerned
maybe we're going for. No, we're going for speed. We're going for speed.
Yes. Well,
I want to keep the car running in the car park, do the show, get back out again without a ticket.
Well, you've got form there.
Yep.
You've got form. I've been a number of times actually when you're back in the Bourgeois days when you were running late.
Yeah.
You had that red Mercedes or BMW?
Yeah, red BMW.
Yes, the red BMW. Very distinctive car because not many people have a red station wagon BMW.
No, that's
so everyone knew it was your car.
Yep.
And you would turn up to the
Kerry Woodham.
Kerry Woodham. Don't you start on Kerry Woodham. I remember one morning you sculled a whole can of red wine in front of her because you early in the morning you were flustered because we were about late for flights. You'd parked in her car park. She was yelling at you, and you happened to have a can of red wine. Remember that?
But you often do a can of red wine, don't you?
And then you looked at her while she was yelling at you, and you went big, 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 big.
This is just too much.
Another radio first.
But you used to pull up to the lifts, leave the keys in, and just go out do the show, and then just announce to anyone in the office, my car's running. It's down by the lifts.
If you have any issues with it, the keys are in it.
Are you concerned about it being at 3 till 4, Lee? I know that's time on a Friday afternoon that you do some of your best work off air. You think you can translate that?
Well, the two go hand in hand, I think.
Okay.
You know, if you can hit that sweet spot,
Yeah.
you know, you get in there, have a couple of beers beforehand.
Nice.
You know, maybe a couple. Are we allowed to drink in the studio nowadays?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Only for the export ultras, but you
Yeah, well, a couple of ultras in there, and look, I think it'll be good. I mean, how bad could it get within an hour? You know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, maybe that's the challenge.
You know?
I do remember when there used to be a bar next door to the Hauraki studio down that alleyway, and I remember coming in and I said, "Where's Lee?" And then you'd come down the alleyway and you'd taken a tray from the pub, and I think you had espresso martinis, a couple of margaritas, and a large beer in the middle.
Well, we'd still be there in that little bar. Jace would be there writing his intro, which consisted of "G'day Kiwis, welcome. It's July the 3rd." You know, same. I don't know why.
It's quite hard to do that because I just got the date wrong. So.
And Matt and I would still be in the bar right while the news was still on. So we had about a minute and a half, and would walk through with the thing. And now we talked about this earlier, but the amount of times the barman or the manager from that bar had to come in and retrieve all the glasses from our studio because they were running out of glasses in the bar.
He was also running out of trays and chopping boards because I think you'd bring food from there as
lemons,
well.
chopping boards, you name it. Why would you need a chopping board?
They went out of business. They went out of business.
They went out of business, yeah.
They did, funnily enough, due to the whiteware shortage.
Yeah, they did.
Whiteware and glassware shortage. Anyway, hey, a little bit of sport.
Yeah.
Are you over this enhanced games, Leigh Hart? Have you heard about it?
The enhanced game. This is like Drugs Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's always been on the cards, hasn't it? You know, a lot of people have talked about it in the past. So it's happening, is it?
It's happening in 2027. And there's 2 or 3 billionaires are behind it. And their argument is people are using anyway. People are underestimating how much drugs have been used in the Olympics anyway. So they're like, why not just see how far the human body can go?
Okay, are we going to be getting, especially in the first ones, because there might be a bit of a stigma to it, big names that we know in there who are prepared to go in, or because if they're sort of average athletes that are enhanced themselves, you're probably not going to see the times that you'd be getting.
Well, I think that's the goal there is I don't think you're going to get your top end athletes doing it, but you kind of up there potential athletes are doing it. And there's $1 million US if you break a world record. They give you $1 million US.
Yeah, that's the incentive.
That's the incentive. So the picture that's doing the rounds is the Australian swimmer who's been juicing hard, and he is an absolute monster. Who's aiming to grab his $1 million. But
It'd be really interesting, isn't it? Because looking at a photo you got a guy with a great swimmer's build, and then he looks like a weightlifter. Obviously, there's a sweet spot, especially if they're swimming and long distance running and stuff. So maybe you can overjuice, and
explode.
maybe that form is not going to go through the water as as good as they think.
Yeah, who knows? But it's going to be a fascinating watch.
Are they doing things like events like cycling and stuff like that?
No, they're doing events which are very simple, and you're like this, Lee, very, very numbers driven in terms of doing weightlifting, sprinting,
this makes sense.
throwing, swimming, and I think maybe one other, but they're all very simple sports where you can...
Your pure strength. And stuff like shot put.
Yeah, pure strength and speed. Yeah, that's one. So it's in a couple of years' time, and like I was saying, there's a bit of money behind it. So if you're a struggling athlete, $1 million if you break a world record.
So what happens, just say Bolt's 100-meter record gets broken, right?
Yeah.
It was 9.344, or what is it?
Yeah.
Imagine that. So what's the conversation after that? People go, well, who's the fastest man in the world? And they go, oh, Bolt. And then some, oh, no, so-and-so got 9.25. Yeah, but that wasn't,
It's a good pub quiz question,
he's still the fastest man on earth, right?
Yeah, well, that's... And as pub chat, yeah. But they're not going to be endorsed by, obviously, the Olympic Committee or any sort of athletic committee. So it's never going to be an official world record. But you're right. You're at the pub and that would be a question.
Yeah.
What's the fastest time run over 100 metres? And
but it kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth around a lot of those events, though, doesn't it? If you've got two, you've got two categories for each. You've got to worry about, Usain Bolt and then someone like you're saying.
Yeah, it just complicates everything. I mean, it's hard enough to keep up with what's going on. I mean, you could even have... a juiced tennis. I mean, the serves. There you go, juiced. Just do the opposite one. You do to counter this. Have Olympic type things that everyone's absolutely rat-assed. And just see what kind of,
I think we'd do all right at that. We'd do okay at that, I think. Because so you've got to drink a minimum amount and then go do a dive off the 10-meter board.
Well, after watching Jace do that 100-meter race, and that's almost like he was in that.
That
was, the Commonwealth was
that certainly wasn't enhanced games, that one.
No,
that's what happens if you smoke too many durries and try and run 100
I don't know. My view on this, I wish it never. I wish it didn't happen. I wish it wasn't a thing. Imagine you got a kid who's athletic. Was always going to be into sport. It could be athletics, could be rugby, whatever. But you just know as soon as he's 18, 19, already. Rowing, you just know he's going to be juicing up.
Yeah.
Because he has to.
Yeah.
There's no other path.
Well, for a while that was the only path for a lot of people, especially cyclists. During the Lance Armstrong era, everyone was juicing.
Yep.
It's the only way you could do it. So,
like you say, they still are really. They're just hiding it better.
Well, that's the argument of these guys for the enhanced games. And their excuse is they just want to see how far the human body is capable of going. Pretty much before the heart explodes, I imagine.
Well, that's exactly the other side effect. There's going to be a lot of premature deaths. I mean, it's not actually healthy. Look, these long distance runners, the mile runners, you think they're really fit. They are fit, but that's not good for your body to run sub 4-minute miles, for 10 years of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, Peter Snell, these sort of people, they don't live to 90.
Yeah.
And he lived all right. But I'm just saying,
it's right.
It's not healthy.
There's a lot of, because I have a few acquaintances who are fit, healthy, run marathons, just drop dead.
Yep.
And you go, well, shit, I'm not running anymore.
Yeah, totally.
I'm going to stick to sitting in the pub.
That's a dangerously sensible approach from you there, Leigh Hart.
Because no one drops dead from drinking in the pub, do they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes.
We just have less stats on it.
Yeah, that's right. We'll take a quick break, so we've got a bit of cricket rubbish to talk as well.
Oh, right up my alley.
Well, here's not great news. Bangalore won the IPL. Virat Kohli, first time he's won the IPL. He stayed with the Bangalore team. They played it at Narendra Modi Stadium. No, Narendra Modi, is that the one? There's a 100,000 seat stadium anyway in India, so it wasn't played in Bangalore. Anyway, the team went back to Bangalore to do a bit of a trophy parade. They invited fans to their home ground. You can fit 35,000 people in their home ground to celebrate the win. 300,000 people turned up.
Oh, God, shit.
300,000 turned up, and unfortunately 11 people got crushed to death outside trying to get into the stadium. That's how nuts they are about cricket over there.
Yeah, and that's getting into the stadium, not getting out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can imagine trying to get out quickly for some reason.
That was crazy. Anyway, so it put a bit of a dampener on Bangalore's victory there. But Gary Stead, he's announced he's no longer going to coach New Zealand. He only wanted to do test matches because the schedule to do test matches, T20s and one days is punishing. New Zealand cricket have turned around and they haven't come out for this, but they've said no, they want to coach for all three formats. So his contract will lapse at the end of this month, and they're looking. And the new coach apparently is going to be announced either today or tomorrow.
So they have one. They have one sorted already.
Apparently.
Damn. Okay.
It's not too late. They're down to 2.
Look, without sounding like an absolute Philistine, and I get it. And what? Just help me out. What does a cricket coach do? I mean, is it more of a selector role as anything, I'd say, with cricket, right?
If anything, it's like the football coach.
Yeah,
the football coach, professional football coach these days, and fair enough. In England,
a manager.
It's a manager.
Type,
yeah, it's a management role. And Gary Stead's in quite a few of his interviews as he's resigned or was stepping down, they said, what do modern coaches actually do? And he's like, it is a manager role, and it is very much about just trying to get the best out of players. Yeah. So it's like, what is that?
People management, not so much individual skills. If they're lacking in an area, put them in touch with someone. Yeah,
you've got a batting coach there, you've got a bowling coach, you've got a fielding coach, you've got probably a psychologist, you've got a trainer, you've got a fitness trainer, you've got a physio, you've got all these experts. It's up to you to say, what do you need, Lee, to be it's very much like an employment. Have you got all the tools you need?
Yeah.
Kind of
you
thing
can see with something like, McCullum with the whole Bazball sort of approach, that was slightly different where you really are changing an approach to it's like with your lineup, with your selections, but also how you're going to play it, what you expect from your number 2, number 3, number 4, what I mean? But after that, it's an individual sport. They know what they need to do.
Cricket even more so. It is an individual sport played within a team environment. You look at the likes of Richard Hadley, who basically held the New Zealand team up for a decade. Yep. It was him and no one else. But Baz has kind of come out of the Mike Hesson school of Hesson was a bit more kind of measured.
Yep.
As McCullum, but he always gave people roles within the team. So
and gave them the confidence to do it. Yes. It doesn't work. We're not going to drop you next match.
Yeah,
and they need confidence to take that approach and not risk their whole career.
And during the World Cup, everyone had a job. It was like, Adam Milne, you're going to come on as first change. Your job is not to tie down the batsman. I want you to get wickets. I don't give a shit if you get hit for 15 off your first over. You're going to bowl 3 overs. I want 1 wicket from you, and that was his job. So he'd come in and just try and bowl heat and get a wicket. And if he got a wicket, his job was done. Then they'd bring on Vittori, and Vittori's job was basically just to shut him down.
Yep.
And then your opening batsman, Guptill, your job is to get 30 off the first 10 balls. And anything after that is a bonus.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and that's what Baz has done with England. Is like worked with Ben Stokes and given everyone a job and go, what kind of cricket do we want to play? And they all agreed on a style, and then each individual.
And when that doesn't work, the plan B is this guy takes over here, and he needs to get this much. So it's like an algorithm, like it just adjusts depending what's happening.
So it's a very much a different. It's not like an old school coach we all grew up with. Who
Openers staying as long as you can.
Yeah, he'd make me bowl for an hour and a half in the nets. He had small stubbies on and would just give throwdowns. And I remember John Sitlington, it was my Hamilton coach, and he'd just go on, Hamilton. And from the sideline, and as John Marshall was assistant coach, had massive thick glasses, and all they'd do is yell at us, and give us throwdowns.
Yeah.
So there was no management there. So I think that's what that role is now. So it'll be interesting to see who replaces him in the next couple of days. Pretty hard job.
Who you picking? Got any thoughts?
There's a South African Walters. Is it Rob Walters?
I don't know who
not the recruitment guy. He's a South African, used to coach South Africa and has moved back to New Zealand. So he is in the mix. So is Shane Bond, I believe. Mm-hmm. He's in the mix. I believe Luke Ronke is in the mix as well. A couple of former players. So it'll be interesting to see which direction they go with that. It's a job which you're on the road for up to 250 days of the year. It's pretty brutal.
I mean, could you, what's the TV show, the American
Kardashians?
Guy comes over and takes the football team in the UK.
Ted Lasso.
Oh, Ted Lasso? No. Or no, Wrexham. No?
No, the one Andy.
Ted Lasso?
Yeah, Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could it be possible, for a personality type person, you mentioned overseas people there, who basically has very little cricket background at all, to come in and be the cricket coach on a pure personality based,
on a vibe.
On a vibe, get the people. You know, you're going to say to your batters, you know, the batting coaches, etc., bowling coaches.
Having seen you give our speech to the team cricket at the Black Clash, then there's no better person than yourself, Leigh. So I don't think it's too late.
Yeah, we got to remember, I've got a 1 hour show on Fridays now.
Oh, okay. And, so that's true.
I've got the time to be messing around with cricket.
Fair enough.
But, you know.
But you combine your vibe with numbers, Leigh. I think anything's possible for the Black Cats.
Oh, there you go.
Forward, yeah.
Yeah. You know, but you don't want to bog them down too much with numbers. A lot of these young kids, they just need to have a focus, be inspired. You know, I could give them all the numbers they like, but that's not going to help some. It can blow their brains a little bit. Keep it simple. Go out there. Simple things. Reverse the order occasionally.
Yeah.
I keep pushing for that.
You're a huge fan of reversing the order.
For that, yeah.
Still keen to see it done properly.
I can't believe you didn't get it over the line with the team rugby.
Yeah, would have meant
that was your one opportunity.
Yeah, it would have meant that Chris Gale didn't get to bat.
Yeah, okay.
Which was kind of, you know. So I got sort of. And
I can imagine Kieran Reid. Kieran Reid wouldn't have been happy with that either.
No, he wasn't keen at all.
No, he likes to win. Trust me, I've played in a cricket game where he's taken the captaincy off me.
Yeah.
And taken over the team.
Once it starts, he takes it quite serious, right?
Fuck yeah. He was in Eden Park and he came over and he goes, Lane, do you want to win this game? Or do you want to fucking lose it? And I went, I want to win. And he goes, well, fucking do. And then he just took over and started moving fielders. I was like, oh, Jesus. Okay, you take it. You do
was
it.
That also the same?
He was right, though, because I was dangerously inept.
Was that the same game where he removed Ben Hurley from the middle?
No, that was another game. This was the game where he said to me, Tony Lyle was probably about 50 metres away. We're at an empty Eden Park. So everything you say basically goes into the stand and straight back out onto the field. No matter how, you can just be talking like loudly. And during that same conversation, do you want to win this fucking game? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, if you do want to win it, don't fucking bowl Tony Lyle again. And it echoed back. This is from Kieran Reid back to poor Tony Lyle, who's standing like 50 metres away. And you could
inspirational stuff.
He just got crushed. He said afterwards, he goes, like,
that's
All Black legend, just
All Black.
Great.
He
He just told me how shit I am. Like, and he goes, I know I'm shit, but I didn't need to hear it from him.
Yeah.
And then another game, Ben Hurley was playing in Christchurch with us, and we needed fast runs, and Ben Hurley was struggling to get it off the block, and he was just wanted to yank him. He said, Lane, go out. I was batting next. He goes, we need you to get out and just get some quick runs. Go and tell him he has to come in, retire. But Ben was having a great time out there in the Hagley Oval, you know, playing on Hagley Oval. It was beautiful. The lights were on, beautiful ground. He'd been out. He'd only probably faced 10 balls, but fucking ice soccer's had enough. Anyway, he sends me out. He goes, go tell him. Ben starts coming off the field, but he wants to get a drink. And I said, and I came on and put my gloves on. And he goes, am I being replaced?
So can you just retire something like
that? Yes, yeah. And I said, oh, yeah. And Kieran Reid just up in the bin, and Hurley, like this, and he's like, oh, fucking hell. And then he went straight in, got changed, got into his clothes, and was about to leave. And this was a game to raise awareness for men's mental health, and we had a live mental health situation unfolding before. It was like a live experiment.
Yeah, exactly.
And poor Joe Wheeler, we said, Joe, you're going to have to go do a welfare check on Hurley. And he went there to go in the sheds. He goes, he's okay. Hurls is okay. He's okay. And I was like, fuck you, Reid.
I remember when, because the night before he said, you're the manager or not the coach, the manager, I think. I said, oh, yeah. It just was a bit of a joke, remember? And then the next morning, I'm in a hotel room about 7:30. I got a text. Jeez, and it's from Kieran Reid, and he had the team. So, what do you reckon, coach? And had the list, and I was half asleep, and I go, what? It's this Kieran Reid, and had all the players that had Chris Gale, I think was first drop or something.
Yeah.
And but everyone else was up to 7. They're all Canterbury players. I looked at it because I didn't know anything about it. And I just said, looks good to me. Plenty of Canterbury guys there. All good.
Well, there's a reason why he became All Black captain and played won World Cups. There's a reason. Yeah. And I don't think you can shake that. I don't think you can shake that.
You can't shake
because once they start competing, he's a fucking fierce competitor.
But, that last one, he did okay. He got a few runs, but he went out cheaper than he wanted to. But as soon as that happened, he's fine.
Yeah,
He doesn't dwell on it.
Yeah. Well, he's even tempered for sure, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's still very calm.
He just doesn't suffer fools.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
And, you know,
and there's a lot of
in that game, you've got nothing but.
Yeah, he does not suffer fools. Can't believe he spends so much time with us. He's a great New Zealander. Hey, another quick break. We'll be back with a bit of rugby chat, our agenda hunch, and a few yours pleases as well. Right, this weekend finals rugby. We're not going to get into how the finals work, Lee.
I'm confused.
We've kicked that hornet's nest a couple of days, and we're going to give up for now, and just hopefully everything goes all right this weekend. But big game, Crusaders versus the Reds tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. And the TAB have got a free swing on this. Anytime try scorer up to $25. If you miss, then you get your $25 back in bonus cash. So we're going to place our hunch on that. So I just need from you, Lee, I'm going to go through the try scorers.
Yep.
And you just let me know. I mean, if it's a free swing, you might as well go for
a bit more of a long shot.
Go for the fences. So if we go down anytime here, I will go anytime try scorer. Right. Let's forget Sevu Reece. Let's forget anyone that's $2 or $3. Let's go down to the more juicy. So
we're into the forwards, are we?
Yep. So Scott Barrett, $5.75. You got a penalty try at $7. I haven't seen many penalty tries lately, though.
No.
You've got
no.
A lot of the Crusaders are all in the top 10 there. So if you get a bit juicy, you're going down to front rowers like Ryan.
Who's paying about $7?
Penalty tries $7, and Scott Barrett's $5.75. The rest are Reds players. Fletcher Newell, the prop forward, he's $10.
Scott Barrett at $5.75.
Yeah, Scott Barrett at $5.75.
Yeah, I don't hate that either.
Go with your hunch. Go with a hunch there.
Are you still a big fan of the defensive bomb, Lee? You were saying earlier.
Oh, yeah. I'd just like to see it executed properly. I mean, a lot of people claim defensive bomb. They're already at the 22. It's got to be behind your own post when you do it. You know, a proper. You know.
Yeah, I was thinking that because
you've got the post to deal with as well. It's coming down. Just because you put a shit kick up in your own 22 doesn't really qualify it as a defensive bomb.
Yeah,
it could just be a shit kick.
So you're saying you've got to bring the posts into play, your own posts.
You should be standing behind your own try line, hot on defence.
Okay,
when you do it.
Okay, so we're going to put that one there on Scott Barrett, first try scorer. You'll get a refund on that if it misses anyway. Paying $5.75. So I'll just chuck that on.
It's good. It really keeps interest in these sort of games. Like these sort of bets, these internal bets.
Oh yeah.
Where is he going?
You got these sort of multi bets within the one game, eh?
Oh, like, the same game multi try scorers. One you want to hit. I've had some great fun with those over the last wee while.
What else are you looking for now, G-Lane? So you put some money on Scott Barrett.
Yep.
And what else have you done?
Hang on. I've also.
That's it.
I've had a bit of a moose as well. I put a first try, anytime try scorer on another one as well.
Oh, that was an accident, was it?
Yeah.
So is that game?
It's tomorrow night. 7 o'clock. So we were commentating that one live on iHeartradio and on Radio Hauraki, and then Saturday is the Chiefs Blues in Hamilton.
That's going to be interesting.
That's going to be an interesting one, but I don't know if the Blues have got it in them, if I'm honest.
You keep saying that, and I think you're saying it with too much confidence now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm starting to get nervous for you.
Yeah, well, and then after that game is the kind of pointless one. It is so
if they changed the order out of these games, it would have been a bit different.
Yes,
exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, because the Hurricanes play the Brumbies.
Okay, so without going into the details of the structure of the tournament, will they change it next year? Is it that bad? They've seen it play out now. They probably didn't think it through this way, or the different possibilities, so they're probably going to adjust it next year.
I think they will, and I think they will go for 6 teams qualify, top two teams have a bye, and the other 4 teams play off.
Knock each other out?
Yes, and then go through to the semis. I've explained it to you in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Explaining the other one to you would take me at least 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, so to be in the top team, you get a bye.
Top 2 teams get a bye.
That's pretty that's pretty massive.
You
get a bit of a home advantage or anything like that.
But the top 2 get a bye and they host the home semi.
Yeah. So
you spend 2 weeks at your home ground training getting ready for the semi.
You got someone coming back from injury, you've got
as opposed to this way, which is very convoluted. You've effectively got the Brumbies and Hurricanes potentially playing off for nothing. They'll both qualify.
Yeah, it's like that bloody World Cup game. When you lose.
Oh, and you've got
to play the
3rd and 4th playoff. That does suck.
That was like our last T20 World Cup, wasn't it? When we couldn't make the knockout stages, so we had to verse a couple of teams and that was tough.
And obviously with the coming at the end of Super Rugby, All Blacks are going to be picked in a couple of weeks' time as well to play their first games of the season versus France. And we've got a couple of events going on. We are going to do some live commentary like we did for the Lions from bars where the games are. So Wellington, we're doing the Wellington Test match July the 12th from Shed 22. It's a free entry, drink specials. We commentate live from there, have a bit of a party. Text Shed to 3236 to book your spot. It's totally free. And then Hamilton, we're at the Roaming Giant on July 19. Text ACC to 3236 to lock in your free spot. All thanks to the legends at Export Ultra. It's all live, free, so make sure you don't miss out on that one.
So France, what do we know about them? They sending a proper team?
No.
God.
No. No, they're not.
Okay, cool.
No, they're not. Because it's coming to the business end of their domestic season. So they've said, we want our best players playing in it. So, unfortunately, but saying that, you send over a B team, they've got a point to prove, and they could be relatively dangerous. We're not exactly fizzing as a team either. So come watch it at the pub with us instead of forking out heaps of cash.
You already sold it then. We're not exactly...
Reserve those tables.
Regardless of the game, it's going to be a great time at the pub, that's for sure.
That's right. And you don't have to... You won't get reamed at the stadium, won't be freezing cold, but you can just come and just enjoy the game with us.
Let's hope you don't get reamed at the pub either.
You could do. There's no guarantees there. You want to come?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do the Wellington one.
Perfect. Okay. You're in.
Sure.
Righto, we've got a couple of yours pleases to get through. Stick around, Lee. These are where people leave us voicemails and we play them out. So first one.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Now that the old Sports Cafe-ish is back for another season, surely it's time we get the mother of all podcasts going. A collaborative episode between the ACC and the Sports Cafe-ish. Ricky and old G-Lane going back and forth. Surely we get it going.
We just go back and forth with Leigh Hart stories.
I think that'd be good. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of basically attitudinally the same thing.
Yeah, they are. I mean, we cover live sport and you guys did everything in between.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we do live. We started as commentary teams, and Sports Cafe was just anything but from Monday to Friday.
Well, it started off as a sports show. It still is a sports show, but no one seems to ever watch any sport, when we get asked to talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's always very generic. But I think that'd be a good idea.
That would be great. I'm all for it. We'll maybe get in touch with Rick.
Yep.
He's probably here tonight, actually. I think he's probably going to the Radio Awards. They're nominated for the best sports podcast against this very podcast.
Good God. Okay.
So there you go. So maybe we'll have some sort of Anchorman fight in the car park. But that would be good.
Radio Awards tonight, is it?
Yeah.
I suppose my show tomorrow won't scrape into that because it hasn't been done yet.
No,
that'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be good on that.
You are down, though. You are nominated, Lee.
For Sports Caf?
No. Yes.
Well, yes.
For that, and also for the Alternative Commentary Collective as a whole is best commentary team.
Maybe I should go then.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should.
Dust the suit off.
I did.
Go to the dry cleaners.
I did. I was just telling guys outside that I dry cleaned my suit from last year yesterday, and it was been
and you picked it up. It's been at the dry cleaners for a year.
No, unfortunately for me,
Still
it's been on
clean.
the rack here, covered in mud after the pants man tackled me into a bush, and so I've left it out there. I had such shame about that night that it's been hanging on and I was like, fuck, I better get it cleaned. So I got it cleaned and I just picked it up yesterday.
Oh, fantastic.
So,
You'll be looking sharp.
Yeah, we're very bits of tree still in it.
Next one, yours, please.
Just had a thought on the new potential name for Wellington Stadium. I was thinking we could maybe crowdfund to give us some money and ship it over to Mermaids, and it could be the Mermaid Stadium, and we could go through a real rebrand, and instead of it being known as the Cake Tin, it could be the Mermaid's Bath. I don't know. What do you think?
Very Mermaids focused, isn't it?
Well, I think it's stadium, it's an old word now. You need they call them coliseums, this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be mermaids, call it the Mermaid Aquarium. So it's got a mermaid theme.
Mermaid Centre, because they call it Staples Centre. It's kind of like not really a. So
Is Mermaid's still going in Wellington? Is it? Is that?
I believe so. I haven't been for a while, but have you ever been to Mermaids?
Yeah.
I find it when I.
I used to clean the tanks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I used to clean the tanks from the inside of the squeegee. I've got some footage of that I can see.
I always, when I first went to Mermaids, I think it opened when I was living there, and I was.
You were living at Mermaids.
In Wellington, but yeah, I could see. I practically was. I always thought I had in my mind, and people go, "Oh yeah, there's like people swimming around in tanks, like with no clothes on and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, that sounds." And I had in my mind some sort of Hollywood
60s LA thing.
60s LA, like where someone's like mystical, like and the hair's flowing thing. Yeah, and I go in there, and there's a person with a snorkel mask on.
Yep.
Struggling for breath.
Yeah.
And not looking like they're having that much fun, and a little bit cold.
Yeah, it's more like like sort of selecting a crayfish from the Chinese fish market or something. You know, it was kind of more. Yes. You know, the water's always a bit kind of
green.
Yeah,
yeah. I would have preferred to have reached in and grabbed live crayfish or crabs out of it than. Probably
get crabs.
Probably got a crabs. Yeah,
but look, Mermaids. There's an Auckland one. Is that still going?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I haven't been down Fort Street for a while.
Now, forgive me. Is the White House
No, they haven't got an aquarium.
Okay, so that's not. Is that
still going?
Yes.
That's yeah. Someone asked me that the other day. I won't tell you who.
I think that is at Lower Queen Street. I think.
Yeah. White House whereabouts is Calendar Girl? No, there's a Showgirls down Lower Queen Street.
Yes, Lower Queen Street. Showgirls is one that caught fire recently.
Right. Okay.
And then there's Calendar Girls up on K Road.
Okay.
And then there's the White House at Lower Queen Street.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
And Mermaids down Fourth Street, kind of. If it's still there.
Yes.
But I think it's still called Mermaids.
Just doesn't have
the tanks anymore.
Yeah,
I think it was too expensive to run the tanks.
Yeah.
No hygiene issues and.
Well, fish tanks in general are quite hard to.
Yeah, it's hard enough to keep a small fish tank in an office clean. Let alone a giant fish tank full of skanky women. You know.
Yeah, it's so true, so true. I mean, yeah, imagine the filter.
Yeah,
yeah. Right. We'll wrap things up on that. I think. Don't forget the free swing.
Good name for a bar, eh? Skankies.
Skankies.
Yeah,
it probably exists.
I'd go.
Yeah. With the TAB free swing, so it's $25 bonus cash back. So it is a free swing. Download the TAB app to get your bet on. Bonus, like I said, is $25 max. Bet responsibly. Have a swing. See how you go, and let us know on Monday. Otherwise, thanks very much, Lee. Good luck with the show tomorrow.
Yeah,
we'll be listening.
Mate. Yes, it'll be a bit of fun. Great to be back in the fold.
Yeah,
as they say, and I may see the woods, the radio woods.
Well, you never left the fold.
No, not really.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see you at the radio. We'll sort you out.
Just nice to get paid for changing it.
Yeah, that's true. You haven't invoiced.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.